What's up you guys? Welcome to my channel. In today's video I will be following Lori Harvey's 90s inspired makeup routine.
Closer to my destiny, closer to the connection.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Lori Harvey and I'm going to walk you guys through my skincare routine and my everyday day to night makeup routine.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip over all of the skincare routine part because I already did my skincare and we're just gonna focus in on the makeup.
Moving on to makeup. So first I like to use this Laura Mercier hydrating primer and it also has SPF in it.
Okay, so she is using the Laura Mercier hydrating primer, which I do not have, but I'm gonna go ahead and choose my version of a hydrating primer to try and do the same sort of routine that she's doing. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Base Tape. This is their hydrating primer.
My best friend is a makeup artist, so she taught me this little trick. I'm gonna take this little brush and I have my Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm just gonna...
Oh, she's doing that TikTok trick.
Put a little bit
that viral TikTok
all
trick.
over my face first. This really makes my foundation go on super smooth and flawless.
So she is using a technique that went super viral last year. I remember when everyone was trying it out. It's where you put the translucent powder on top of the primer and then you spray it with the setting spray and then you go on top with your foundation. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I personally don't have the Laura Mercier powder in my collection, but I am gonna go ahead and use my favorite Holy Grail powder, and this is by Hourglass. This is the Veil translucent setting powder. I thought I was gonna be doing this a lot more often and then I kind of just stopped putting the powder. I kind of just forgot about this step because I'm usually always in a rush doing my makeup. Definitely need to get back on this little technique here because I really do like it. And so she used the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray, which thankfully I have just a little bit left of, and I'm gonna go ahead and just use that to spray over the powder. This was like the first setting spray I ever fell in love with, and I try to keep at least one of them in my stash, and this happens to be my last one. So this just reminded me I need another one.
And now we are ready to apply foundation. I'm gonna use these two Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundations and mix them.
Okay, so she starts with her foundation first, which is different for me. I normally like to start with my brows, but we're gonna roll with it. She went with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation, which I have honestly been wanting to try that for years. I'm gonna go ahead and pick out a more luminous finish foundation to try and get the same effect. All right, so I chose the NYX Born to Glow foundation. This is in the shade Warm Honey. And I know that she was applying it with a brush, but I literally don't have any clean brush. So we're just gonna use a sponge. All right, what's next, Lori?
I like to use this Fenty Beauty Match Stick to do my contour. I'll wet my beauty blender a little bit.
Okay, so she went ahead and used the Fenty matchsticks to do a like cream contour. Not even really like a contour, but just like to warm up the face. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Juvia's Place. This is their like cream foundation stick. This is in the shade Benin. I'm not really sure how to say it, but this is the one that we're gonna go ahead and use. And for this, she actually did use a beauty blender. So we're gonna go ahead and just blend it out. I normally don't even use cream contour or cream bronzer that much like I used to. I had like a moment or a phase where I was just using it more often, and now I don't even really go for it. I think it's because it's a little bit more time consuming for me, and I really never put any sort of cream on my nose because my nose, it doesn't like products sitting on top of it. It just really doesn't, but we're gonna do this for Lori.
So on a really, really good skin day, if I'm just trying to run out the house, I'll just do a little bit of concealer. I like to use Biscuit because it's closest to my skin tone when I don't have anything on my face.
All right, so she went in with a more skin tone matching concealer. She went with NARS Biscuit. So this one isn't like super close to my skin tone, but we're gonna go ahead and just go with it. This is by Dose of Colors. This is their concealer in the shade 21. So she went ahead and just put it in the center of her face. right down her nose and down her chin.
Next is this one.
Okay, so I just rewatched it. She went ahead and she used 2 concealers. She used one that was more of like a skin tone matching concealer and then one of more brightening concealer. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna hurry up before I take too much time and this dries. Do you guys use 2 different concealers? I feel like I normally will just use a brightening concealer, but not like a skin tone matching one and then a brightening one on top, even though that kind of sounds smart, like I should be doing that.
I'm gonna go back to this Mercier translucent powder.
Okay, more powder. So I'm gonna go back in with my Hourglass Veil powder, and I am not a baker. I do not bake underneath my eyes. I don't know, I just fell out of love with baking, so I don't really bake my face anymore at all. Like, I haven't baked my face in so long. She also put some right here. Ooh, this is why I don't enjoy baking. It just gets all in the eyebrows. So good thing we didn't do the eyebrows first. Good call, Lori.
So I have my Kelly Baker brow palette. Kelly is the only person that I trust to do my brows. I have had some real horror stories.
So Lori is using a brow powder. She's using the Kelly Baker Brows little brow kit, which I have never used before, but I just heard how amazing Kelly Baker Brows is. I'm gonna go in with the Benefit one. This is the Foolproof brow powder, and this is in shade 5. We don't really see her do anything other than just brush through her brows first. We don't see her put any product in or anything like that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start filling them in. I forgot how easy powder is to work with. I've been so stuck on using brow pencils and brow pens that I just completely forgot about how easy and fast a brow powder is.
To really define them, I use this little tool right here, and then she has almost like a little concealer pencil.
So she took like a little cream concealer looking pencil in the Kelly Baker Brows little kit, and I don't have any sort of little cream pencil like that to go ahead and highlight the brow. I do have this little cream concealer from MAC, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this. This is the Studio Finish Concealer in NC42, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use a little definer brush like this. So this step is definitely not new for me. I love to outline the brow. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and blend out the concealer or the brow highlight, whatever you call it. So it looks like she only does the under part of the brow. She doesn't go on top. So we're gonna go ahead and just leave the top the way it is.
The last step, I like to do eyebrow gel. I'm obsessed with eyebrow gel. But before I do that, I'm gonna blend my powder right here.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter Brow Gel. I'm not sure which brow gel she was using. I think she's still using the whole kit from the Kelly Baker Brows, but this is my all-time favorite brow gel, so I'm gonna go in with this one.
So next, I'm gonna do my bronzer. I like to use like 3 different brushes when I do my bronzer because I don't know, I just feel like it gets the job done. So I like to use this one first. It's like angled and it like gives me that little angled contour look that I like.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my Morphe Glamour Bronze bronzer. This is in the shade Megastar, and it looks like this. And she does like an angled brush when she applies the bronzer. She likes that angled, chiseled look. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. This is by Sigma. I believe this is the F40 brush. The numbers are all wiped off. I've had this brush for years. So she just literally uses the brush and does a little swipe on the nose because she doesn't know how to contour her nose, which I don't either. And that's the same thing that I do. So we're twins when it comes to that.
So I actually like to go over that bronzer with this Urban Decay.
There's more. So she went in with another bronzer shade by Urban Decay. I don't really know what it looks like or anything, so I'm just gonna go in and try another bronzer of mine that's a different shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring out one of my favorites. This is by Lawless, and I cannot remember the name. I think it's Blazed. We're just gonna go ahead and put a little bit more bronzer on, apparently. This one's a little bit darker and warmer, and we're just gonna be extra like Lori with our multi-dimensional bronzer today. Ooh, looks kind of pretty. All right, so for her eyes, she went in with the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, and that is just like warm reds and oranges and just like, you know, warm fiery colors. So since I don't have the Urban Decay Naked palette, I'm gonna go ahead and use my KKW Beauty palette, which has some similar tones in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use this. So it looks like she was kind of just placing one matte shade all over at first and just trying to cover the lid. I can't even really tell what shade it is that she's referring to, so we're just going to wing it. I'm gonna go ahead and just mix the both of these two shades together and just ever so lightly place that in the crease. And then she also takes it below on her lower lash line. I never really put shadow on my lower lash line anymore. I almost forgot what it's like.
So we're gonna go for a little bit more of a bronzy look today. Okay.
So I'm just placing that right in the center with the same brush that I just used. No shame in my game.
I am not an eyeliner pro. I do not know how to do eyeliner very well. So I actually like to do my eyeliner with eyeshadow. So I take this little thin brush right here.
So she is not an eyeliner pro and neither am I. So me and her have way more in common than I thought that we did. I feel like this is like the first time that I really even hear her talk. I feel like I always see photos of her and I never even really see her talk or hear her talk. So I'm glad that she went with powder because that is what I've been doing lately. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this darkest shade in the palette and just use that for my eyeliner too. So she also says that she's not gonna put on mascara because she has on eyelash extensions already. So I am not gonna put on mascara. I'm gonna go ahead and put on some little eyelashes. These by Ardell, I have a couple left. These are the faux mink style. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop these on. All right, so I went ahead and I put on some falsies and I went ahead and just put a little bit of mascara on the bottom lash line and wiped off that excess powder.
I'm gonna go into my favorite, which is blush. I have two blush palettes right here by NARS, so I'm gonna mix the two.
All right, so for blush, she went ahead and used two shades from NARS. She didn't really show us exactly what shades they are, but they were powdered blushes. So I'm gonna go ahead and use two shades from my Bare Mineral blushes. This is on the mauve, and this one is Peachy Keen, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use both of them. So I noticed that she is placing the majority of her blush like basically on the apples of her cheeks, which I'm normally not too into. I normally like to start back up here, but she is going right for the apples, so that is what we're gonna do.
Naturally, I'm like very rosy, like I said, so I still kind of like to keep that look a little bit. So I'll kind of like to mix like a lighter pink and more of like an orangey type of blush.
Okay, so I just caught where she said she likes to mix a little bit of a light pink blush with like a more peachy orangey blush. So I kind of switched up the blush shade I picked originally, and I'm gonna go in with this one right here, which is in Pink Me Up, which is a lighter pink, just to add some more rosy pinkness to it. All right, so next thing is lip liner. She likes the Patrick Ta lip liner, but I'm gonna go ahead and use, this is by ColourPop. This is BFF3, and I'm almost finished with it, I know.
Pat McGrath lip gloss. Mama Pat is my all-time makeup beauty inspiration. I love her.
And it just looked like she put the most beautiful, glossy, neutral, nudie pink lip gloss over her lip by Pat McGrath. So I do have this little mini right here from Pat McGrath that I could use. This is in the shade Flesh Fantasy. I got it like in a little trio, or I think it was like 3 or 4 in a pack. Like, you know those little mini sets that she has? Oh yes. Oh yes. So pretty. This is perfect. I do believe mine might be expired though. All right, so then she goes ahead and sprays her face one more time.
Tom Ford highlighting powder. Clearly it is very used. I use it every day. This is the only highlighter that I like to use. So I take this little brush and I mix the two like this.
That highlighter looks so freaking bomb. I need it in my life. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo. This is in the shades Mean Money and Hustler Baby. Whew, I haven't used this in a while either. Look at that. Love it. So pretty.
My little secret. This Anastasia Beverly Hills Dewy Set. And then I tap my highlight.
So I have never done that trick before where you like wet the sponge with a setting spray and go over the highlight after. I normally will just spray the spray over my highlight after. So we're just gonna go ahead and concentrate it directly on the sponge. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist for this, only because I just know it's gonna be extra dewy. And we're just gonna go over it. Right, let's wait for it to dry. All right, you guys, so this is what I came up with after following Lori Harvey's makeup routine. I'm actually super in love with it. I'm definitely going to go ahead and use the technique again when it comes to the powder over the primer and all of that. So I'm glad that she reminded me of that step. I love the eyeshadow as the eyeliner instead of like a liquid liner or anything like that. The neutral lip combo, the lip liner. I love the highlight too. I love how she wasn't too extra with the eyebrows and just like carving them from the top all the way to the bottom and just kind of left it underneath. I just kind of like how simplified her routine was, even though it did seem like it was more steps than usual for like the average person. It was still more, you know, laid back and not like too crazy. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed watching this video, make sure you go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That is a free way to help me out and I really, really appreciate it. Also, make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell. That way you will be notified the next time that I make an upload. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.